I have 3 generations of family who are all diabetics. Every one of them are also amputees, either one leg or both legs.
Diabetes is a lifelong disease that affects the way your body handles glucose in the blood. For Ester Horowitz, her family members struggled, suffered, and some have died to the disease associated with type 2 diabetes.
It's a family history that's pretty scary. It's severe, and I did not want to be the next victim genetically, so I started a journey just to make sure I could avoid that for as long as I could or completely escape it.
With the obvious family history of diabetes, Horowitz changed her lifestyle and eating habits. For further guidance on her eating choices, she turned to a former high school classmate, Margaret Marshall.
Good to see you. We have so much to talk about today.
We do, definitely.
Marshall, a best-selling author of the book Mind, Body, and Mouth, Life's Eating Connection, and a regular contributor to Push Pause, is a personal eating consultant and offers insightful guidance to anyone who wants to change their eating habits associated with dieting. Upon learning about her family's struggle with diabetes, Marshall didn't hesitate to help her friend who has deep concerns about being diagnosed with pre-diabetes.
She wanted to work with me to help herself continue on her path of living a healthy lifestyle.
I would say I started in a small way when I was in my mid-20s, early 30s, especially after I had my kids. So it was a gradual process, but I really began to work at it when I was turning 50. Habits that I had learned earlier on that were working before were no longer working. So I sought out Margaret because I needed someone who could custom tailor to my lifestyle.
Type 2 diabetes is mostly brought on by lifestyle, by an unhealthy lifestyle, by unhealthy eating, by being sedentary, by unhealthy mindset. Most of type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes is brought on by that. Not all of it. Some of it is because of your family history. As you move forward in your life, you do not have to have family history to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It could be your lifestyle, and it could be just some changes that you have to make.
As the sole survivor in her generation that has escaped the symptoms of diabetes, the health of her twin brother Ira began to decline. He lost his battle to the disease earlier this year.
He went to his doctors regularly. He was on dialysis 3 times a week. He went. You know, it's not like he didn't try. You know, he brought his weight down. He got it down to an acceptable level. But unfortunately, when diabetes is allowed to rage on over a course of many, many years, it begins to break the body down, and it begins to destroy nerve endings, and it begins to destroy all sorts of areas of your body. He tried. My mother was probably the most disciplined woman I know, and it didn't seem to matter. So you never really know. But what I can tell you is if you err on the side of going after a healthier lifestyle, the odds are still in your favor, much greater than if you're not. There was just some minor tweaks I had to do, and then I had to do them a little bit at a time. And for example, the artificial sweeteners was always an issue because I've had saccharin when I was a kid.
Right.
Changing her diet, Horowitz found it difficult to lose cravings for artificial sweets, so Margaret prepared a healthy meal for Horowitz to follow.
One of the things that you may crave sugar is if you're not eating enough protein. Your body will crave the protein, your brain will think sugar. So we go to the sugar. So make sure that the day before or in the day that you're in, that you're eating enough protein for your body. So I made a pasta salad, but pasta is not a great thing for a person with diabetes because it does turn to sugar in your system. So what I added to it was tomatoes, which is vegetable, but I also added little balls of mozzarella cheese, which I broke up, so it's not so much of that in there. So this way we have the protein in with the pasta. And as long as you don't overload your plate with pasta, you're okay.
Whether or not you are trying to prevent or control diabetes, the principles of healthy eating remain the same.
But there's also 8 million people walking around who do not realize that they're either diabetic or have pre-diabetes. So we also need to get to those people and find out what's going on in their lives, how they can change, how they can be healthier, and how they can not get into the diabetic frame. Thanks for coming. It was great to be with you today, Esther.
For more, go to margaretmarshallassociates.com. For Push Pause in Bohemia, this is Archie Snowden.